In the bustling heart of New York City, where skyscrapers pierced the sky like ambitious dreams, lived the Thompson brothers, Alexander and Benjamin. Their father, Robert Thompson, had built a real estate empire from nothing, starting with a single brownstone in Brooklyn back in the 1980s. By the time he passed away in 2023 at the age of 78, Thompson Properties owned luxury condos in Manhattan, commercial spaces in Chicago, and vacation homes scattered across Florida and California. His net worth hovered around $500 million, a fortune that included stocks, bonds, and a prized collection of vintage cars housed in a private garage in the Hamptons. Alexander, or Alex as he preferred, was the elder by 5 years. At 42, he was the spitting image of their father, tall, broad-shouldered, with a jawline that screamed authority. He joined the family business right out of Harvard Business School, climbing the ranks with a ruthless efficiency that Robert admired. Alex married young, to a socialite named Victoria, and they had 2 kids who attended elite private schools. His life was a carefully curated Instagram feed, yacht parties, charity galas, and boardroom conquests. Benjamin, Ben to his friends, was 37 and the polar opposite. A Stanford dropout, he'd pursued a passion for tech startups, founding a green energy app that flopped spectacularly during the pandemic. Ben was the dreamer, the one who backpacked through Europe after college and volunteered at environmental NGOs. He had a girlfriend, Mia, a graphic designer from Seattle, but no kids. Ben had always felt like the black sheep, overshadowed by Alex's golden boy status. Yet Robert had loved them both equally, or so the will stated. The trouble began the day after Robert's funeral. The family gathered in the opulent conference room of Thompson Properties headquarters on Fifth Avenue. The lawyer, a silver-haired man named Harold Green, read the will aloud. Robert had divided his estate evenly, 50% to Alex, 50% to Ben. But there was a catch. The company itself would remain under joint control, with Alex as CEO and Ben as co-chairman. Robert's final wish was for them to work together, believing it would mend their fraying bond. Alex's face twisted in barely concealed rage. "This is bullshit," he muttered under his breath as Green finished. He'd expected full control. After all, he'd been the one running the day-to-day operations while Ben chased windmills. Ben, sensing the tension, tried to extend an olive branch. "Look, Alex, I don't want to step on your toes. We can figure this out." But Alex had other plans. Over the next few months, he began a subtle campaign to undermine Ben. It started with small things, excluding him from key meetings, questioning his ideas in front of the board. Ben, eager to prove himself, dove into the company's finances, uncovering irregularities, offshore accounts, inflated expenses, and suspicious transfers to shell companies. "Alex, what's this about?" Ben confronted him one evening in the office, waving a stack of printouts. Alex leaned back in his leather chair, a smirk playing on his lips. "Just creative accounting, little brother. Dad did it all the time. Keeps the taxman at bay." Ben wasn't convinced. He started digging deeper, hiring a private forensic accountant named Lisa Chen. What he didn't know was that Alex had been embezzling for years, siphoning funds to fund his lavish lifestyle and a secret gambling habit that had racked up millions in debts to shady lenders in Atlantic City. When Alex discovered Ben's investigation, panic set in. He couldn't let Ben expose him. It would ruin everything. So Alex plotted. He used his connections, a crooked IT guy in the company, to plant evidence on Ben's computer, fabricated emails showing Ben authorizing the transfers, fake bank statements linking him to the offshore accounts. Then he anonymously tipped off the FBI's white-collar crime unit. "There's embezzlement at Thompson Properties," the tip read. "Check Benjamin Thompson's records." The raid came swift and merciless. It was a crisp autumn morning in 2024 when federal agents stormed Ben's loft in Brooklyn. Mia screamed as they handcuffed him, rifles drawn like he was a terrorist. "What the hell is this?" Ben yelled, his world crumbling. "You're under arrest for wire fraud, money laundering and embezzlement," the lead agent said flatly. The evidence was ironclad, or so it seemed. Ben's trial was a media circus. Tabloids dubbed it brother versus brother, the Thompson takedown. Alex testified tearfully, claiming he'd discovered the discrepancies and had no choice but to cooperate. "I love my brother, but justice must be served," he said, choking up for the cameras. Ben's defense attorney argued entrapment, but the planted digital trail was too convincing. The jury deliberated for only 3 hours, guilty on all counts. The judge, a stern woman named Judge Harlan, sentenced him to 10 years in federal prison. As Ben was led away in shackles, he locked eyes with Alex in the courtroom. "You did this," he whispered. Alex just smiled faintly, already plotting how to buy out Ben's shares at a discount while he rotted in prison. Life in Otisville Federal Correctional Institution was a nightmare for Ben. The medium-security prison in upstate New York was filled with white-collar criminals, Ponzi schemers, insider traders, but it was still prison. Ben shared a cell with a former Wall Street broker who snored like a freight train. He worked in the laundry, folding sheets for 12 cents an hour. Mia visited at first, but the strain was too much. She left after 6 months, tearfully explaining she couldn't wait a decade. Ben spent his days in the prison library, reading law books and true crime stories. He filed appeals, but they were denied. Alex, meanwhile, thrived. He consolidated power, renaming the company Alex Thompson Enterprises. He sold off properties Ben had loved, like their father's first brownstone, to pay off his debts. Victoria threw extravagant parties, and Alex even ran for city council, positioning himself as a pillar of the community. But fate has a way of turning tables. In early 2025, a whistleblower from within the company, a junior accountant named Raj Patel, came forward. Raj had overheard Alex bragging about the frame job at a drunken office party. Terrified but principled, Raj contacted the FBI with recordings. The investigation reopened. New forensic experts examined the digital evidence and found anomalies, timestamps that didn't match, IP addresses tracing back to Alex's IT guy. The pardon came suddenly. President Harris, in a wave of criminal justice reforms, signed off on Ben's release after just 18 months served. It was November 14, 2025, the user's current date, ironically marking Ben's rebirth. As Ben stepped out of the prison gates, the cold wind whipping his face, he clutched a small duffel bag with his belongings. No one was there to greet him. Mia had moved on and friends had scattered. But in his pocket was a USB drive from Raj, containing preliminary evidence against Alex. Ben checked into a cheap motel in Queens, his mind racing. He wasn't the same naive dreamer anymore. Prison had hardened him, taught him patience and cunning. Alex took everything, he muttered to himself, staring at the city skyline. Now I'll take it back. Freedom tasted bitter for Ben. The pardon cleared his record, but the stigma lingered. Job offers dried up, old contacts ghosted him. He crashed on the couch of an old college buddy, Jake, a cybersecurity expert in San Francisco who'd relocated to NYC for a gig at a tech firm. "Man, you got screwed," Jake said, handing Ben a beer. "What now?" "Revenge," Ben replied flatly, but not the hot-blooded kind. He'd learned in prison that true vengeance required strategy. First, he needed proof. The USB from Raj was a start. Emails showing Alex's instructions to the IT guy, bank records of payoffs, but it wasn't enough to bury him. Alex had covered his tracks well, using layers of intermediaries. Ben started small. He got a burner phone and created fake social media profiles to monitor Alex. Instagram showed Alex living large, private jets to Miami, dinners at Michelin-starred restaurants. LinkedIn revealed business expansions, new deals with shady developers accused of money laundering. Ben dug into public records, using free databases at the public library. He discovered Alex had transferred several properties into trusts under Victoria's name, likely to shield them from lawsuits. But he needed more. Ben reached out to Lisa Chen, the forensic accountant he'd hired pre-arrest. She was wary at first. "Ben, that mess almost tanked my career," she said over coffee in a dingy midtown diner. But when he showed her the USB, her eyes lit up. "This could be big, let's team up." Together, they formed a makeshift war room in Jake's apartment. Jake hacked, ethically, he insisted, into public Wi-Fi logs and old company servers that Alex hadn't fully scrubbed. They uncovered a web of corruption. Alex had bribed city officials for zoning variances, evaded taxes through fake charities, and even laundered money from his gambling debts via real estate flips. One breakthrough came when Ben tailed Alex to a seedy bar in Atlantic City. Disguised in a hoodie and baseball cap, he watched from afar as Alex met with a loan shark named Vito Morty, a known figure in organized crime. Using a hidden camera pen Jake had rigged, Ben recorded the exchange, Alex handing over a briefcase, promising more properties to flip in return for debt forgiveness. Back in NYC, Lisa analyzed the footage. "This ties into the embezzlement. See, he's using company funds to pay personal debts." They cross-referenced with financial statements. Alex had overstated property values to secure loans, then defaulted strategically, pocketing the difference. Ben's investigation deepened. He interviewed former employees anonymously via encrypted apps. One, a a secretary named Maria Gonzalez, revealed Alex's affair with a board member, using it to sway votes. Another, a maintenance guy, talked about neglected buildings leading to tenant lawsuits that Alex buried with payoffs. As months passed, Ben pieced together a dossier, but Alex wasn't idle. Paranoia set in after the pardon. He hired private investigators to watch for Ben one night. Ben narrowly escaped a tail by ducking into the subway. "He's onto me," Ben told Jake. To escalate, Ben went undercover. Posing as a potential investor named Brian Tate, he attended a real estate gala where Alex was keynote speaker. With a fake beard and glasses, he schmoozed, dropping hints about lucrative opportunities. Alex bit, inviting him to a private meeting. There, over scotch in Alex's penthouse, Ben recorded Alex boasting about cutting corners and handling family issues permanently. The recording was gold, Alex admitting to the frame job. "My brother was a liability, had to put him away," he slurred. But Ben needed irrefutable evidence for court. He contacted the FBI agent from his case, Special Agent Carla Ruiz. "I have proof it was Alex," he said in a secure call. Ruiz, skeptical but intrigued, agreed to meet. She reviewed the dossier and whistled. This could bring down half the real estate lobby in NYC. With FBI backing, Ben's probe went official. Wiretaps revealed Alex's ties to Morty's syndicate. Subpoenas uncovered hidden accounts in the Cayman Islands. Ben even hacked, via Jake, into Alex's personal email, finding threats to witnesses. By mid-2026, the net tightened. Alex grew erratic, firing loyalists, arguing with Victoria. One evening, Ben confronted him anonymously via a throwaway email. "I know what you did, payback's coming." Alex's reply, "Who is this, Ben? Stay away or you'll regret it." Ben smiled. The hunter was becoming the hunted. The exposure began quietly, like a storm gathering on the horizon. Ben, with Agent Ruiz's help, leaked select evidence to the New York Times. The headline screamed, "Real estate mogul accused of framing brother in $50 million embezzlement scheme." The article detailed the planted evidence, the bribes, the mob ties. Alex's face was plastered on every news site, his carefully built empire crumbling overnight. Alex denied it all in a press conference, flanked by high-powered lawyers. "This is a smear campaign by my disgruntled brother," he thundered, but the damage was done. Stocks in Alex Thompson Enterprises plummeted 40%. Investors fled, banks called in loans. Victoria filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, code for not wanting to go down with the ship. Ben watched from afar in a safe house provided by the FBI. He wasn't done. The civil suit came next. Ben sued for wrongful imprisonment, defamation, and restitution of his inheritance. In court before Judge Harlan, the same who sentenced him, Ben presented the dossier. Witnesses testified, Raj, Lisa, Maria, even the IT guy who flipped for immunity. Alex took the stand, sweating under the lights. His lawyers objected furiously, but the evidence was overwhelming. The recording played, Alex's voice admitting the frame job. The courtroom gasped. "You monster," Ben said from the plaintiff's table, his voice steady. The verdict was swift. Alex guilty of fraud, conspiracy, and perjury. He was sentenced to 15 years, plus fines exceeding $100 million. The company assets were frozen, then awarded back to Ben in full as restitution. But true revenge came in the details. Ben reclaimed the family properties, the Hamptons garage with Dad's cars, the Manhattan condos. He sold off Alex's additions, donating proceeds to criminal justice reform charities. He even bought Alex's penthouse at auction, turning it into affordable housing units. Alex, stripped of everything, rotted in the same prison Ben had endured. Letters came, pleas for mercy. Ben ignored them. In the end, Ben stood on the Brooklyn Bridge overlooking the city. Mia had reached out, but he was different now. He started a new venture, ethical real estate, green buildings for the future. Happy, not fully, the scars remained, but vindicated, absolutely. Revenge wasn't just sweet, it was justice, hard-won and complete.